Greetings from Berlin. How's everyone doing out there? Yes, this is the Academy Awards of Mobile Journalism, the premiere edition of films that you guys made that were judged by another group of special people and were meant to be aired in cinemas on several continents until the pandemic hit. So forgive me, this is the substitution for that, but it does not take the joy out of sharing this great work with you. And I'm doing it all here in my Berlin studio, and it's the show's actually running off of an iPad, so we really are fully mobile there. You saw the theme music was also composed on an iPad, so we're trying to live the dream here. And just like any good award show, we're going to kick it off with one of the top awards. And for this, we're going to go from Berlin all the way down under to award the Innovation Prize. The Innovation Prize is a special category of the contest where we are looking for people who are pushing the frontier. And one of those people that came through this process is somebody called Max Schlesser. Now, Max is German, but Max is a professor. He works down under, and he had a really great idea. I'm going to let him tell you about it, but here's the slide, and here's Max. Max, I'd like you to reach behind you there and go grab that.
Yep.
Little thing from Rode.
Awesome.
Max, hold it up to the camera so everyone can see what you got there. That is a wireless Go. You know about the wireless Go, yeah?
Yes. Fantastic microphone.
Fantastic microphone. And guess what? You just won this because you're a finalist in the Mobile Journalism Awards Innovation category.
Yay!
Congratulations.
That is very useful because I'm very keen to do the same that we're doing right now, is to use two Rode mics for an interview situation. We are stoked that we made it to the finalists.
Yeah.
Which is, is fantastic. Thanks again for that as well.
You want to tell us a little briefly what the project was?
Yes, sure. So the Nucleus project is a transmedia project, really, and it was supported by the Goethe Institute, or we initiated with the Goethe Institute. The Goethe Institute is a cultural foundation in Germany. They do language courses, but they also do cultural workshops. They've got around 150 offices around the world, and so we work with the Goethe Institute in New Zealand. And the pitch from the Goethe Institute was to make a eco-smartphone film. And so I run MINA, which is a Mobile Innovation Network and Association, not the Italian rock singer. And MINA runs for the last 9 years sort of mini film festival for experimental smartphone filmmaking. And the Goethe Institute really loved the idea to use smartphone filmmaking to tell stories on ecology and also create this in an experimental way. And so we used the MINA platform to submit films, to submit an open call to filmmakers from all of the Australasian region. So the Goethe Institute is structured into different regions, and the Goethe Institute New Zealand is in Australasia, so we sort of work with that region. There might be some plans to take it global, so we'll see. But there was a kickstart. At the same time, I also ran some workshops to involve new voices into this conversation on smartphone filmmaking, but also on ecology. And so I think the project was really fantastic, because if you try to talk about ecology, you could go and commission one filmmaker to make a film on ecology and travel film. But I think really to understand what ecology means across all of Australasia, it's very important to have multiple voices and multiple ideas and understandings of what ecology in these different cultures are and how filmmakers interpret this. And so we set up a website that would bring these different films together. And the Goethe Institute then selected with MINA and all the directors of the Goethe Institute across the Australasian region, selected from all the entries 6 filmmakers that were then invited to Wellington, New Zealand, to the Goethe Institute. And in 4 days, we ran a workshop on smartphone filmmaking, but of course they were also smartphone filmmakers, so we sort of explored some more different creative strategies and how we can work aesthetically. And of course we had also some workshops on sustainability and ecotourism. So one of the key inspirations for us in New Zealand was the concept of kaitiakitanga, which comes from the Maori people, and it's the idea of guardianship. So that in nature, in environment, and especially also in nature, there are spirits everywhere. And so it's a more holistic approach to understand how you deal with the country, the air, and the sea, all these things that we need for living. And so there's also great stories that are being told about these different elements. And so we had a fantastic workshop by Maori travel company consultancy that sort of introduced us to the concept of kaitiakitanga, and then we browsed around Wellington and did some short interviews on location and visited different sites that are of key significance to ecotourism. So in Wellington there is a nature reserve, so where it's a protected area for nature and for animals, and so we sort of looked at all the different things about how tourism and ecology can actually be used to raise awareness on ecology and how you can be making a contribution to do a good project. And for us it was very important to have this international debate and dimension on what does ecology means. Of course there was some travel involved in this project because we invited filmmakers from the different countries, and so to offset the carbon emissions we made a short intervention where we went to a nature conserve and brought some driftwood from the sea to a gecko farm in the mountains. And so with the sea level rise, these gecko farms will have to be moved because it might be with the proximate of the water being otherwise in danger. And so that was also then a fantastic way to use smartphone filmmaking, wireless Go, to make a short documentation of this project. And so, while everyone was driving back to Wellington, I was quickly editing it in the bus. And in the same way, on the 4 days, we made a documentary about this 4 days, about the different the workshops and the ecotourism that we learned. And it was pretty full on because we had like 8-9 filmmakers filming during the day who would then get together in the evening, create a rough cut. I would then go home, do a little bit more editing, and then in the next morning we had another screening of the material and then revise on the next day. So it was 4 days, very intensive, but the Goethe Institute supported us very well. They made sure that we had all the energies to do the project. They had some great input as well from their side. And so it was a fantastic teamwork. We discussed all the decisions for the editing. We discussed all the decisions for the filming. So it was a really collective approach. And we had to finish because we had a deadline, which was the premiere of the project in the Wellington Embassy Cinema, which is quite well known through the world premiere of The Hobbit. So it's a fantastic cinema. The Goethe Institute, of course, has a fantastic network. So we had the German ambassador that came. We had a panel discussion. Different companies and enterprises that also work in the field of ecology. We had the panel chair from Aotearoa Film and Video. And so, it was a really fantastic project to talk about how we could bring two things together, which is smartphone filmmaking and ecotourism. And so that project really demonstrated that you can have multiple voices to understand what ecotourism means. On the website, which is www.goethe.de/nucleus, the films that were screened and the workshop submissions. And so it was an amazing transmedia experience to bring different people together to New Zealand, Aotearoa, and with them work out the idea of what is ecotourism and what opportunities do we have when we travel.
Let's congratulate Max for a job well done and some really pioneering work there with that international effort for using Mojo films to make an impact. I was jealous I didn't get to apply because I like making films in New Zealand. Now listen, you saw Max had some prizes there. Our winners get prizes. That's done because of how this contest is organized. It's organized by a charity called, or a nonprofit, if you will, Visual Editors, which was established back in 2004 in Chicago, precisely to look at gaps like this that have an educational and scholastic focus. So that's kind of what I looked to when I saw that there was a huge potential there with my own research, making Mojo films and entering them into film festivals and seeing the results and taking students along for the ride. That there are so many good things when you create a competition like this. You know, it drives excellence. It honors international innovation efforts. It rewards scholarship. And so as I started to mind map that out, I reached out through my role at Visual Editors, I'm a board member, to other groups saying, look, we have absolutely no money. You probably don't have any money either, but isn't this a good idea anyways? And pretty much they all said, yeah. And everyone volunteered. And that's what got the ball rolling. When Bob Stewart at Ohio University says, yep, we've got a cinema. In fact, it's like an Art Deco cinema, and I'll bring in the School of Film, and you can talk with the director. And he brought all the schools on board. And that's what made it happen. So thanks, Bob. Bob Stewart, everyone. Made that happen. And that's the coalition it takes to do something like this. You know, it's also been an experiment. We've cast a wide net thinking about what kind of stories people might want to do in a competition like this. And through this process, we really discovered that, you know, the best documentary is and the Innovation Prize are like marquee awards, but there's also room for new types of intersections with mobile technology. And that's why, you know, in the next edition, we're going to have that finished on mobile category that Luma Fusion is going to sponsor. I want to thank our judges, Marta, Marcela, Kim, Jacques, and Nyla. A lot of these are my colleagues at foundations, in newsrooms, in classrooms, where I've had the chance to meet them. That you couldn't ask for a better set of judges, real veterans, real journalists, first of all. And so that was fun. You know, I didn't judge this contest, they did. So I'm happy to say that through this process and having the nonprofit reach out for some support with sponsors, again, they all said yes, and they all came through. And what I can tell you is that everyone who entered this competition won at least one prize. We had early bird giveaways that were sponsored by Moondog Labs, and the Top Gear from Road and Shure is going to the winners of the best documentary and innovation prize, as you saw. So that's kind of where we're going with this. And now we can get to, you know, by the way, I should invite you, if you want to be a part of this effort, there's no money. If you want to help, if you want to join a working group, if you want to take this forward with me and the people I've just showed you, then please do reach out to me, okay? And now, without further ado, let's start looking at some of the entries for Best Documentary. We're going to start with an Italian mobile journalist. His name is Nico Piro. And the film is called Today, I Will Live. This is Nico's bio. Nico is a war correspondent for Italian radio television. Yeah. So, a serious guy, doing serious stuff. And so this is going to be a really serious film. I want you to watch it. It is called Today, I Will Live. The biggest lie about modern conflicts is that they are fought on battlefields. People who can't flee in the middle of wars. This story is about them.
When you are stuck in traffic, you probably think about the same things that every commuter in the Western world thinks about. Being late for the gym, your friend who's waiting for you for a cocktail, the dinner you have to cook for your family. This is not what happens when you are stuck in traffic in Kabul. Here you think about what can go wrong. You think about being the accidental victim of a suicide bomber. Every second is longer while you are a sitting duck, especially if you are close to a potential target like a government building. This is the everyday life in the Afghan capital, and more or less, it's the everyday life in many war zones. People try to lead a normal life. They go to the stadium to cheer for their team. They go out to dinner with their families, but they know that every day might be their last. As a war correspondent, you are lucky because deadlines, phone calls, and appointments keep you busy and leave no space for fear. Even if, as a journalist, you are a valuable target that will fill headlines if killed or kidnapped. Most people believe that wars are fought on battlefields between enemy armies. This is the biggest lie about modern conflicts. People who can't flee from a war stay in the middle of it. Before entering office, every politician should visit a hospital ward for war victims. There they will see what these conflicts, which they have the power to start, really mean. Unfortunately, this isn't going to happen, and these wars will continue to fill up with civilian casualties. Casualties which are invisible to both politicians and the media. These are the forgotten victims of a forgotten crisis.
The judges commented that it was impressive, insightful, and impacting. Our next nominee for Best Documentary is a film called Breakfast of Champions. And I'm sorry if I'm going to pronounce your name. I'm going to go for Berat Gökus. That's the best I got. I hope I did all right, my friend. Berat is a Turkish filmmaker. He's a journalist and currently seeking political asylum in France. So this resonates with all of us. And it's a story about refugees trying to get appointment dates. Breakfast of Champions.
S'il vous plaît, please. Allez, s'il vous plaît. Allez, s'il vous plaît. Allez, 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 go, go, go. Allez, allez, go. Allez, go, les gars. Allez, tomorrow, 9 o'clock. Yes. Demain, madame. Je suis désolé, on est fermé.
मेरे 15
2 o'clock.
क्या करना चाहते हैं तो समझ नहीं आ रहा।
ये चाहता है कि ये लोग बहुत ज़्यादा इस लेट में
Yes. Police, Michel.
Là, il faut aller faire la ligne là-bas, please.
You are very, you are a lot. When you
some of the judges' comments. Thank you, Berat, and thanks for joining us this evening. Our next and final nominee, there are 3 nominees for Best Documentary. And by the way, I should mention that the judging process is very rigorous. There are all the films that were submitted were judged on a 10-point, what's the word? Rubric. That's the word. A 10-point system, and for 10 categories of filmmaking. And so these films are the ones that were ranked the highest and got the most attention of the judges. So that's what you're seeing here. And this is by Celine Argento. And Celine is also here in the chat. So you can reach out to her and all our filmmakers and congratulate them. This is, I'm going to destroy this. Sorry, ooh la la. It's Va de bonne cour. That's the name of the film. And Celine is a Swiss television journalist. And she's been doing mobile journalism for 4 years, and she works at this TV channel, Le Monde Bleu. Now, Le Monde Bleu is very famous, who we know, because it was the one that converted completely over to mobile smartphone video cameras for all of their news reporting a few years ago. So, big day for the Vaude Boncourt. I'm never going to say that right. I'm sorry, Celine. Anyways, this is what this story is about, and now it's time to watch it.
Applaudissements et joie, le bateau de Raymond Jonin vient de faire sa première sortie, un transfert en camion d'1 kilomètre. Une épreuve de force, car quelques heures plus tôt, il était encore bien serré dans son atelier.
On prend le châssis, on prend le bateau, puis on attache, puis on prend tout ensemble.
On prend tout ensemble.
Ok, ça marche.
Une quinzaine de personnes ont aidé à faire sortir ce géant des mers de 17 mètres.
Oh, c'est plus qu'un grand jour. C'est l'événement, un bon événement dans ma vie, ça.
Tout commence en 1978. Raymond Jonin, compagnon charpentier, attiré par la voile, décide de se lancer dans un grand projet, construire son propre bateau.
J'ai condamné mon atelier pour l'entreprise et puis j'ai commencé à faire le bateau qui prenait toute la place, quasiment.
Dans cette aventure, il est aidé d'un autre compagnon, Louis Varin, et voilà ce qu'on disait d'eux à l'époque.
Oh là là, on disait qu'on était un peu fous.
Raymond Jonin pensait parvenir à le construire en 10 ans. Il aura fallu 30 années de plus. Le bateau a ainsi vu grandir le fils, François, et les petits-fils, Tim et Jérémy.
Moi, je suis extrêmement content pour mon grand-père parce que c'est un projet de vie. Ça a demandé beaucoup de sacrifices, beaucoup d'heures de travail. Il y a eu beaucoup de hauts et de bas pour ce bateau. Et puis finalement, c'est quand même un projet qui va s'achever. On est surtout très heureux pour notre papy.
Les deux jeunes ont eux aussi une formation dans le bois. Ils découvrent pour la première fois l'étendue de l'atelier.
Les deux petits-fils n'ont jamais vu l'atelier sans le bateau. Alors ça leur a fait drôle. Hein. Voilà.
Ce jour de sortie du bateau, ils sont aux avant-postes, sous les consignes de leur grand-père.
Et il faut sécuriser les côtés maintenant, hein, parce qu'on va sortir. On avance. Si vous voulez imiter le cri des mouettes, vous pouvez.
Le bateau sort. À l'extérieur, une foule de spectateurs venus voir ça. Parmi eux, Madame le maire et son adjointe.
On espérait qu'un jour ça se réalise, on n'y croyait plus vraiment, et puis c'est aujourd'hui.
On peut que lui souhaiter bon vent et vogue le navire.
Bravo!
À 10h40, c'est le grand moment. Le bateau ne touche plus terre, Raymond Jonin non plus.
Adieu, toi.
Il est sur un petit nuage.
C'est trop, il vole. Le bateau volant. Mais regarde ce bateau là-haut. Non, te Dieu, non, te Dieu.
Un grand moment d'émotion.
Bravo, papa. Bravo. Super.
Dernière manipulation pour faire atterrir le bateau, et c'est le moment de souffler en chanson.
J'ai les larmes qui coulent ou qui restent à fleur des yeux quand je vois tout le monde qui est là. Je crois que le plus, c'est ces 40 ans, c'est une émotion fantastique. Mais pour tout le monde, je suis sûr. On a tous changé de visage, on a tous vécu plein d'aventures. Et puis maintenant, ce bateau, ben voilà.
Le bateau sorti, l'atelier change encore de vocation en accueillant la fête. Un peu de répit avant les 3 à 4 mois de travail pour finir le bateau, puis le va de bon cœur pourra enfin connaître l'ivresse des embruns, sans oublier que c'est ici, à Cartigny, que la graine a germé il y a 40 ans.
Some of the judges' comments. It's beautifully shot and edited and carried the emotion of the day. So I want to congratulate again. Those are our 3 nominees to be highlighted in the first edition of the Mobile Journalism Awards. And now it's time, drum roll please, to announce the winner. It's Nico Piro with Today I Will Live. Congratulations to Nico. Nico is the most awarded Italian war correspondent. I can see why. He's also hard to reach. And when I did catch up with him this morning, I found him in the airport at Charles de Gaulle en route to yet another assignment. And he sent in a little love.
Hi everybody, this great news reached me while traveling. I'm in a stopover now, so I'm very excited. I'm crossing the ocean for an assignment. It's great, I'm very happy, and I'm happy of course for this victory, but I'm happy also because this is a chance to cast a light on the Afghanistan war, the forgotten crisis, forgotten war, and with too many people suffering. And it's also a chance to remind everybody that the war is the worst thing can happen on this planet. Thanks again for having chosen my work, and I hope that when COVID will be gone, the Mojo community can be again and all together somewhere. Thank you. Bye bye.
Thanks, everyone. We'll see you next year. Check out www.mobilejournalismawards.com. The call for entries for the next season is open as of today. So if you've got something you're working on, check out the rules, check out the categories, and most important, check out the deadlines. The show has been recorded, and the films are being curated at the Smart Film School. There will be a course at the Smart Film School. It's free to get into, and you'll be able to review this material. All of the winners of the first Mobile Journalism Awards.